Which dating app is the best in 2022? In this video, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. What is going on, guys? It's Wingman Plus. Welcome back to another video. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm your go-to source for entertaining and helpful Tinder videos. So if you haven't yet, make sure you pound that like button and hit subscribe. In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the top 3 dating apps: Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. I'm gonna go over the pros, cons, and strategy for each dating app, and at the end of the video, I will let you guys know which one is the best in 2022. All right, so we'll start off with what is the largest and most popular dating app in the world: Tinder. Now, of the 3 dating apps, I find that the people on Tinder are the least serious. Far less of them are looking for meaningful relationships, and most of them are either looking for attention or casual hookups and friends with benefits. Tinder is by far the largest dating app with the highest number of users, and it actually has some really cool features if you're willing to pay for them. Overall, the quality of prospects on Tinder is pretty high, and if you know what you're doing and know how to play the numbers game, you can do very well on Tinder. One thing that keeps people coming back to Tinder every day is their top picks section, where they basically list out 10 plus of the hottest people in your area, but that's not where the fun ends. Something I love that Tinder does is they constantly update the app with new features and in-app experiences, such as Tinder Swipe Night, which is a live action role play game within the Tinder app, Tinder Vibes, which lets you answer fun questions and see how your matches stack up with your answers, and their brand new Explore page, which lets you niche down a little bit more and find like-minded people in the Tinder app. So while Tinder is the biggest dating app, it looks like they're not going to lose their title anytime soon because they are constantly innovating and improving their app. But with that said, let's get into some of the cons. Based on my experience, I've found that girls on Tinder are overall not that serious. And as a guy, you can waste a lot of time talking to girls on Tinder if you don't know how to text them efficiently. Another thing I've noticed is that Tinder can be kind of glitchy. I've had some of my conversations completely disappear, but it's not like someone unmatched me, because when I go back up to my matches, it shows that girl with no conversation. What makes it awkward though is that sometimes the conversation will disappear for me and not for them, and vice versa, and it can create some really awkward miscommunications within the app. You know, imagine someone's replying to a message you sent them a couple days ago and you literally can't even remember who they are or what you were talking about. Talk about awkward. And as a Tinder content creator, I see so many comments of guys saying that Tinder is broken, and this kind of comes down to the marketing of Tinder. A lot of guys are led on to believe that if they buy Tinder Gold or buy Tinder Platinum, that they're gonna get way more matches, and that miraculously every girl on Tinder is going to start liking them and seeing their profile. And I get it, Tinder is a business, but I feel as though some guys kind of are being misled to think that Tinder Gold will turn their 7 likes into 99 plus likes. The fact is, Tinder Gold will not fix a broken profile, and you can get a ton of success on Tinder without paying if your profile is just quality. So when it comes to strategy around Tinder, first and foremost, and this goes across the board for every dating app, you need to optimize your profile. You need to have absolutely solid photos that have no red flags or common mistakes in them. And you need to understand that Tinder is all a numbers game, because so many people are wasting time on there. You need to maximize the number of matches you're getting in the beginning and use your conversations to efficiently sift through those matches to find out who has common intentions and set up some dates. Another Tinder pro tip: I would not recommend paying for Tinder Gold unless you have 99 likes waiting for you. The only time you need to buy Tinder Gold is when you want to more efficiently sift through hundreds of girls that have already liked you, or you want to take advantage of one of the other fantastic features that are included in Tinder Gold, such as Tinder Passport, which lets you swipe around the world, and having access to every top pick rather than just one per day. Lastly, girls on Tinder are looking for reasons to reject your profile, so do not include too much information about yourself. Don't take it too seriously. Keep it playful and have fun. Overall, Tinder is a solid dating app, and if you're just starting out in the dating app world, I highly recommend Tinder as a place to start. Next up, we have the second biggest dating app in the world, Bumble. The biggest thing that differentiates Bumble from other dating apps is that women have to make the first move. When you match with a girl, she has 24 hours to send you a message before the match expires. Bumble's a really cool app that has some features that other dating apps don't have. Bumble allows you to send voice memos, photo, video, and even has a really fun question and answer game to break the ice. Another thing I love about Bumble is that it shows you what city people are in when you're swiping on them. This can be very helpful if in your particular area, geography makes dating more complicated. For example, if you live in an area with islands, borders, or areas with poor traffic conditions or public transit. And in full disclosure, I did give Bumble Dating App of the Year in 2021, but this wouldn't be a fair review unless we got into the negatives. Because girls have to send the first message, you technically have to match with a woman twice on Bumble. What I mean is that first she has to swipe right and match your profile, but beyond that, she still has the option not to message you. Therefore, she kind of has two opportunities to reject you. This puts way more pressure on optimizing your profile. Beyond that, I've noticed a major change in Bumble throughout the past year. You know, Bumble used to be this dating app that people would go to if they didn't really like Tinder. You know, maybe they had a bad experience that left a bad taste in their mouth. Maybe they didn't like the idea of being on an app for hookups, or maybe they're just looking for something way more serious than you would find on Tinder. And while Bumble used to be an incredible alternative to Tinder, and in the past has been my favorite dating app, I've noticed that a lot of the higher quality profiles that used to be on Bumble have recently disappeared. It's funny, what makes Bumble different is that women have to send the first message. And I'm all for women taking the lead and empowering themselves to initiate the conversation, but few of them seem to want to. In my experience, most girls on Bumble just open with hey, hi, hello, how are you? You know, the types of messages that if a guy sent someone would get no response. You know, it's almost like girls are opening the conversation neutrally on Bumble, just praying that the guy will take the lead. So why does Bumble feel like a shell of its former self? I think it's because Hinge has been gaining so much popularity and has taken a large share of the people who are looking for something more serious on dating apps. This has resulted in Bumble being left in this weird sort of middle ground where they're definitely not a hookup app, but they're not really a serious dating app either. And it's kind of the place where people go when they don't really know what they want. And you know, the people who are using Hinge right now used to use Bumble as the alternative to Tinder, but Hinge is quickly growing as an amazing platform for women who are looking for something a little bit more serious, but don't want to feel the pressure of initiating every single conversation. It's funny, but the very thing that differentiated Bumble from Tinder in the beginning kind of seems like it's the reason that Bumble is falling behind in 2022. With all of that said, I definitely don't recommend you uninstall Bumble yet. As the second largest dating app, you better believe that they're working on it. If you are using Bumble, I highly recommend that you use some of their unique features such as voice memos, the ability to send video and photo in the chat, and using the question game to break the ice and initiate playful conversations. With that said, definitely make a point to check your match's intentions because there are a lot of people on this app that quite frankly don't really know what they're looking for. Now, I know I alluded to this last app quite a bit when I'm talking about Bumble, so let's get into it. The third biggest dating app, but arguably the fastest growing dating app, Hinge. So compared to Tinder and Bumble, people on Hinge are definitely looking for something a little more serious and are far more intentional. And this is really because of the way Hinge has marketed itself as the dating app that's meant to be deleted. Now, while Hinge isn't as big as Tinder and Bumble yet, the user base is certainly growing, and I definitely recommend you get an account on there ASAP. A lot of Hinge's recent growth can be attributed to their recent addition of voice prompts that you can add to your profile. These voice prompts have started a huge trend on TikTok and have catapulted Hinge into the spotlight. Now, since people who find Tinder a little too casual go to Hinge, you're gonna find that it's a different group here. They typically have higher standards, and based on my experience, I found some much higher quality prospects on Hinge than some of the other dating apps. What I think really sets this dating app apart is the fact that every like is a super like. What I mean by that is on Tinder and Bumble, if you want someone to see that you liked them, you have to pay for that feature. But on Hinge, literally every time you like someone, they will get an alert on their phone saying, hey, Hunter liked you. You can even go through all the people that liked you as well. So it's almost like you're getting Tinder Gold for free. Another feature that you'd have to pay for on other dating apps that is also free on Hinge is the passport feature. You can literally change your location to anywhere in the world free of charge with a standard Hinge account. Hinge has done a really good job of looking at its competition and implementing best practices. So similar to Bumble, you can also send voice memos on Hinge, as well as see what neighborhood people are in that you're swiping on. But with all that said, it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. There are a couple negatives with Hinge. First off, you're only allotted 8 likes per day. It's a very low number, and that's why it's important to make every like count. But Hinge makes it easy to do so with the ability to add a message to your likes, a feature that you actually need to buy Platinum Edition on Tinder for. Now, if you're not looking for a relationship, your intentions aren't that serious, and you're looking for something a little bit more casual, you're gonna find that on Hinge, you need to filter through far more matches before you'll find that. That's not to say there aren't people on Hinge looking for something casual. I've definitely had a couple of slays from Hinge, but the vast majority of people on that app are looking for a relationship. Another thing to keep in mind when using Hinge is, unlike other dating apps, you don't have a lot of leeway when you're building your profile. You must include 6 photos and 3 prompts, and no less. Hinge forces you to provide a bunch of information about yourself up front. And on dating apps, women are usually looking for reasons to reject you. So be very particular when you're building your profile on Hinge. A little bit of strategy to help you maximize your chances on Hinge. First off, don't add a prompt to every photo. The app will encourage you to do so when you build your profile, but you already have 3 text prompts on your profile already. Adding it to every photo as well is kind of overkill. An absolute pro tip on Hinge is to test out different photos and different prompts on your Hinge profile. See which ones are getting the most likes, and then implement those photos and prompts on your Tinder and Bumble profiles. This is a really good way of using Hinge to kind of A/B test all of your photos and then implement the best practices across the board on your other dating apps. So there you go, guys. That is a massive breakdown and list of pros and cons of all 3 of the biggest dating apps: Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. But this video wouldn't be complete without the final decision: which dating app is best in 2022. Now, last year I gave the award to Bumble because the features on Bumble were really groundbreaking at the time. There was a really good quality pool of prospects on the app, and people were very intentional about meeting up from Bumble. But the rise of Hinge in the past year has basically left Bumble as a shell of its former self. And for that reason, Bumble is actually being dethroned and put in 3rd place in 2022. So Bumble, if you're watching this, no hard feelings, but use this feedback to make your app better, because I've always loved Bumble and I do want to see you guys winning, but there are some glaring problems with your app, and I know I'm not the only one who sees them. I just have a platform to voice it. So now it's down to Tinder and Hinge. One thing I think Tinder has done absolutely amazing in the past year is roll out new features, particularly the Tinder Swipe Night, the Tinder Vibes, the Tinder Explore. They're constantly launching new things to make the app interactive, more exciting, and keep people engaged on the app. When people see there's a new episode of Tinder Swipe Night, when they get off that, they start swiping, they start messaging their matches. So Tinder's doing a really good job of keeping users compelled. Now, with that said, Hinge has recently exploded in the past year. And I think it's largely due to the fact that their voice prompts have gone absolutely viral and put them in the spotlight as an alternative to Tinder. Anyone who isn't really looking explicitly for a casual hookup is kind of looking at the dating app landscape right now and seeing Hinge as an obvious choice. And while Tinder has a huge user base, and if you could play the numbers game effectively, it's a great dating app, I need to give the award this year to Hinge. Not only because they're the most improved dating app, but literally because there's a mass exodus of people leaving other dating apps and moving on to Hinge. And not just any people, but it seems to be like the hottest people are all on Hinge right now. So for that reason, hands down, I have to say, Hinge is the best dating app in 2022. On top of that too, like every feature that they have as a standard feature is like a paid feature on other dating apps. It's honestly a no-brainer. With all that said, I still love Tinder. I love what they're doing, and I can't wait to see the new developments that they roll out over the course of the next year. What do you guys think is the best dating app of 2022? If you guys agree or disagree with any of the points I made in this video, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys found this video helpful or insightful, or at the very least, you enjoyed it, you found it entertaining, please make sure you pound that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm your go-to source for entertaining and helpful Tinder videos. Until next time, peace.